So very much for spending this time with us, joining us tonight. We are super excited to bring y'all one of the greatest actors of all time. This is going to be an amazing conversation. You guys have spent all this time, all your patience, we thank you kindly. We're getting ready to get started, and before we do, we have something very special for you in 2 seconds. Set, because we're going to kick this thing off. Thank y'all one more time. Y'all been fantastic, and we will see y'all after a while.
All night long.
Very young, and I saw the first Star Wars movie, I was enamored with the light side. I thought that might be the way I want to go. And as I started to grow up, and I started to become more jaded about the world we lived in, I realized that I had the power to rule. I decided that the dark side was the only side. Who will follow me? I will rebuild your world. Your universe will be better than ever if you follow me, Mark Hamill. Mandalorians have nothing on me. Jedi's have nothing on me. I will be your fearless leader. How many of you want to be a dark trooper? Yeah! How many of you want to change the outcome of your lives? Follow me, and you will know what the truth is. Bring me the child. And I will squash that little big-eared bastard. He has something that we all need. He has something that we all want. And in the world and universe that we are moving toward, we will all need to have a little piece of that big-eared bastard. Follow me, Moff Gideon. Follow me. What do you have to say about that? Yes. And how about you? Long live the Empire! Boo-hoo to you. And what do you have to say? Just as I thought. Now I know we're all eagerly awaiting the new Mandalorian movie. In the works right now, and should be something that you all have great anticipation about. It is No spoilers. Oh, really? Okay, I'll take it. So we have a great evening planned for you. Really, really marvelous evening. And you know, from time immemorial, from the beginning, we love the hero. We love the person who can make the right decisions in the right moment, who can use the right physicality at the right time, we can believe in, and who we can follow. And that person, when I was a young boy, was Luke Skywalker. He was smart, he was handsome, he was physical, and he could do all the things that we needed a leader to do. So we followed him. Through all of his trials and tribulations, we found that he could represent the goodness and the light that was inside of each and every one of us. So I'm here tonight to invite to the stage the inimitable, the one and only, the hero of heroes who started it all, the most incredible Mark Hamill! This is why the dark side rules. For this reason and this reason only. That's why I'm the man. With the plan. How many people will follow me? Tell me that. Come on. Yeah, I'll bring you to the dark side. I'll bring you truly there. So, Chicago, we love you. And we're so happy to be here tonight. And if I have a panel here next year, I want every single one of you to come. The excitement and the electricity in this room is absolutely incredible. So, I will take 5 questions. 5 questions from anyone in the room. Who's got to come right there? Come on.
Hang on, what's it like joining the MCU?
Wow, we're going to move to the MCU. I got to tell you, so being in The Mandalorian, if that wasn't enough for me to become a child again, and to really pique my imagination and curiosity, and to revitalize this whole Disney universe of Mandalorian, which has been done so well by Jon Favreau. I've graduated for the time being to the MCU, and I am having a blast. Playing characters that you've never ever seen before. I know many, many people had expected me to be certain characters that they had envisioned me to be in their mind's eye. And for a long time, people were trying to guess who I might be in the MCU. Well, I'm Sidewinder. Seth is a guy who never planned on moving to the dark side. A scientist, a great mind, but when you see this movie, you will see me do things that you've never seen me do before. He is a bad... So you know.
Do you think in your suit that you could take Darth Vader?
Well, I have to consider a little bit. Absolutely, without a doubt. Yes.
Out of all the characters you play, what's your favorite one?
Out of all the characters that I've played, what is my favorite one? Well, you know, I don't draw many comparisons, and I have been very, very blessed. I feel like I've had a great career as an actor. I feel like moving into really huge tentpole films, the MCU world, the Mandalorian, and Star Wars world, has afforded me time and to reflect and to have fun. part of what I feel about our lives is that we should have fun. It shouldn't be that difficult. We shouldn't forget to be children again. And so my favorite roles have been Moff Gideon. I get a chance to play on the big stage with the big boys and big girls, and to be in a world that is magical in its juxtaposition of light and dark. And it's a world that allows us to see what we could be, or what sometimes we think we want to be, and it empowers us to be who we really are. So without haste, I want to invite to the stage the inimitable, the fantastic, the hero of heroes, the person we've been waiting for, who represents the light, Mark Hamill!
I have to tell you, have you seen this man in Breaking Bad? Revelation. All I said to my wife is, where has this guy been? You are brilliant.
Thank you, sir.
Just a brilliant actor.
I love you. I love what you do.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Enjoy, Mark Hamill!
So, what do you want to talk about? Thank you. I've been pretty busy lately, and I should tell you what I've been doing. Right now I'm in Winnipeg. I filmed yesterday, came after we finished shooting. I have to go back. It's a movie called The Long Walk, based on the Stephen King novel. And it's pretty grim stuff. And it's ironic because I first worked with Mike Flanagan in The Fall of the House of Usher. And I said, okay, let's see. I'm playing a soulless, amoral sociopath who's also a lawyer. Why didn't they think of me? But I'm so grateful to Mike, because I was a huge fan of his before he contacted me. I loved The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor. I loved Midnight Mass. And so I really wanted to work with him. When I read it, I thought, I don't know how I'm going to do this part. A lot of times you read something and you go, oh, I know exactly who this guy is. That character came to me very late in the game. In other words, I'm flying to Vancouver and I'm still not really sure who this guy is. He's the lawyer for this terrible Usher family. A family where the matriarch or patriarch of this company that manufactures this drug that's making them billions of dollars, but is killing millions of people. So that's, even though it's fantasy, you can relate to that. You say, oh, that's the Sackler family. That's OxyContin. So it's based, and there's a reality that you can accept. And every one of their children is worse than the next. They're all horrible people. And what a cast. I mean, he uses a lot of the same people over and over again. So I was a big fan of all of these people that were in it, Carlo Gacino and Kate Siegel. And Henry Thomas has been in like 8 different Mike Flanagan things. But like I say, I thought, he came so slowly. In other words, I thought, well, hair-wise, I think he's someone that wants to get out of the shower and just do this with a towel, and that's it. So cut it short enough so it just lays down. I don't want it sticking up. but short enough so it just barely lays down. So we got the haircut. And then I started looking through the glasses that they had. I found a pair of glasses, I put the glasses on, so I'm getting closer. Then a lot of times you have to understand, wardrobe really is a crucial part of what I do, because they showed me various suits and I tried them on. When I finally found the suit, and then the hat, very important, found the hat. And eventually, because they have to do a screen, they test what you look like on camera, you know, turn to the left, turn to the right, look up, look down, all that stuff. And I was nearly there, and it wasn't until the very first day of shooting, I'm in the office, I'm the family lawyer, like I say, and I'm not exactly sure what the line was, but when I started doing my dialogue, I just started talking like, he'll be there Thursday night. I'll contact you later. Just deadpan, but I wanted to convey like a deadness in his soul, a deadness in his spirit. So I just talked like this. And, you know, later in the morning, we did shot the master, we're going in for coverage. And Mike walked by me, and all he said was, love the voice. So I said, yes, I'm here. I finally knew who I was doing, but I don't like cutting it that close, believe me. What else am I doing? Oh, I'm the major antagonist in the SpongeBob movie. Yeah. Search for SquarePants is the name of it. Now, I have known Tom Kenny 30 years. He and his wife, Jill Talley, also wonderful talent, from Chicago. And my wife and I have been friends with them for years and years and years. And Tom is just a delightful person, aside from being so talented. And I went in to do my first session, and usually the director's in the booth, right, a glass booth. In this case, Derek was directing, and he was right in front of me at a table. Tom was 2 feet away, acting out all the other characters. He's so hands-on. They said, well, we need another session. When I was in Winnipeg, I said, can't we wait till I get back? Because I really want Tom to be there. They said, no, we really need this, even though it's not coming out till next year. Schedule-wise, we can't wait until mid-September when you're coming back. So I did a Zoom, but Tom was on the Zoom, so I was very good. And I think it went well because I made both of them laugh. I'm playing the Flying Dutchman. Now, when they offered me the part, I had seen it when the kids were small, but I didn't really stick with it over the years. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary. And so when I went to do my research, I said, oh wait, this is a villain that's been on the series a long time. Voiced by Brian Doyle Murray, who I don't know personally, but I loved him on Saturday Night Live. But for whatever reason, they asked me to do it. I mean, that's kind of showbiz, you know? I mean, you win some, you lose some, you're up, you're down, you're in, you're out. But I'm having the time of my life. We had so much fun doing the recording sessions. What else? Oh, on September 20th, I think it's a Friday, anyway, next month, I'm a voice in DreamWorks' The Wild Robot. Yeah. And it's based on a Peter Brown children's book. It was a #1 bestseller in the New York Times. And I ordered the book as soon as they were interested in having me involved. And I was just, it's so moving and it's so, it's just thrilling. I mean, it's poignant and it's funny. It's about this high-tech robot that gets shipwrecked on an abandoned island and has to deal with nature. And I play Thorn the bear. And Catherine O'Hara's in it, who I adore, from Second City Television. You know, the list is too long to do her justice. But for me, SCTV, I thought was one of the greatest sketch comedies ever. I still love it. Pedro Pascal is in it. Lupita Nyong'o is the robot. And Kit Connor, who is wonderful. The whole cast is great, but what I was so thrilled to discover was they showed me footage when I went in to do my first recording, so some of it was finished, and they kept the look of the book, which was such a relief because it's beautiful. And it struck me as one of those movies that the whole family can enjoy on different levels. Young children will like it, and adults will like it too. Now, I remember taking the kids to movies when they were small, where I was like gritting my teeth, thinking, "Ugh, I can't stand this." I would never let on, especially if they enjoy it. You know, that's the main thing. But this is one that I think covers all the bases. What else? Oh. Mike Flanagan wrote me an email. He said, "I'm doing this movie, and there's a part in it for you if you're interested. And it's based on a novella by Stephen King." So I'm thinking, wait a second, between Mike Flanagan and Stephen King, this has got to be like rip the top of your skull off horror of all time. And it's atypical for both of them. It's called The Life of Chuck, and it tells the story of this little boy named Chuck in 4 different stages. He grows up to be Tom Hiddleston. And it goes backwards. It goes Act 3, Act 2, Act 1. And I'm only in Act 1. Spoiler alert. But I played Chuck's grandfather. And the basic look was, I said, just take all the color out of my hair, all white. I had a bushy mustache. I get gray in my beard. I don't color my hair, but I don't have a lot of gray in my hair, it's just in my beard. Basically, imagine Geppetto from Pinocchio. That's exactly how I look. And, but like I say, it's touching, and it's sweet, and it's poignant, and it's all these things. But I said, between you and Stephen King, your tagline should be The Life of Chuck, not a horror movie. Because you're going to get people's expectations set in the wrong way. Well, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe if they go in expecting some gruesome, horrific story, they'll be surprised. So that's going to be, it was done independently, so we don't have a distributor yet. But I'm going to the Toronto International Film Festival. They're showing both The Wild Robot, which does have a distributor. It's DreamWorks, hello. But The Life of Chuck is a very small, modest film, and it'll be, oh, my dogs are backstage, by the way. We'll make an appearance with it later, I'm sure. But the whole point of showing it in Toronto is to hopefully find a buyer, and I'm very confident it will find one, because it's unlike anything you've ever seen before. Words don't do it justice. Okay, what else? So that's. I want to see the dogs. I'm losing the audience already. Bring on the dogs! About Star Wars. Oh, there she is. That's Millie. That's Millie. And she does love an audience. Mabel's a little more shy dog, which is now they're all rescues. That's my daughter Chelsea. And do you have El Diablo with you? We have another. We named her Molly, but after about 2 weeks, I said she's not a Molly. She's more of a Trixie. And by the way, I had no say. My wife walked into my room. I'm sitting there, reading a book or whatever. She has the dog in her arms. No phone call, like, hey, do you think we should get a dog? And I'm not going to say, take it back, so we just accepted it. Is she a handful? One of the least favorite attributes of her is just yapping incessantly. If the phone rings, she barks. No, but small, like a chihuahua, smallish. And just, a person will walk by on the street outside, she barks at the person. I love her to death, but, if I could wave a magic wand. I think maybe she needs a companion. Maybe she needs a Norton. And that's a dated reference, because Trixie and Norton were Ralph and Alice's next door neighbors on the honeymoon. One of my all-time favorite shows. So I said, maybe she needs a Norton. We'll see. So what else? It's kind of boring in talking about yourself all the time, believe it or not. But listen, I have to thank all of you, because sometimes I'm just overwhelmed at the emotions that I sense when I meet you. I saw a grown man cry today because he was just overwhelmed. I've liked you since I was a little boy. Tell me that I'm old without telling me that. But, and I have to say, because I don't really, it's like, I don't get to see the reactions that people have. When I saw any of the movies, you see them at a screening, you don't go with a paying audience and see them. So sometimes it's quite a surprise to see how the impact that it has on people. Well, I don't know. I could throw it open to questions, or you could shout out a topic.
Jim Croce!
What's that?
Jim Croce!
Okay, here, now listen, you probably heard this story before. When because I used to be much more into comic books than I am now. I read them as a kid. They were forbidden in my house. My father was an authoritarian military officer, Navy guy, and he said, these are for morons that can't read real books. You can sort of get away with a Classics Illustrated. The Tale of Two Cities, well, all right. But I had to go to my friend's house to read Batman and Superman and all that stuff. But anyway, I was reading this trade magazine, I forget what it was, where they were talking about Batman the Animated Series. Well, I could tell from the people that they were putting together, I said, hey, this is going to be a notch above Super Friends and the Saturday morning version. They're clearly hiring not only writers that have experience writing comic books, I'm getting upstaged by the dogs again. But I said, this is going to be something special. So I called my agent. I said, I'd really like to get on this series. I'd done one series when I was a teenager, an animated series, Genie, which was based on I Dream of Genie. But then it didn't occur to me to pursue voiceover animation. I went to Broadway to try and get character parts I wasn't getting on film, when I realized, in retrospect, the greatest avenue for character parts are in animation, because they cast with their ears, not with their eyes. And you get to play parts that you never get to play on camera. In fact, I do dialects, but pretty much the only person allowed to do dialects on film is Meryl Streep. It's an unwritten law. And they keep hiring like Australians and English people to play Superman and Batman. I said, do we go to your country and try and play Sherlock Holmes? Cut that out. But so they said, okay, you have an audition, and they set the time and date and everything. I have to put it in context. This was within a month or two of Michael Keaton being announced as Batman in the Tim Burton film. And at the time, all the comic book nerds just freaked out. He can't be Batman, he's Mr. Mom, he's a comedy actor, without having ever seen him, right? But it was a big backlash. So I only tell this story to put it in context, because when they said they wanted you to read for the Joker, because I said, I'd rather, do a villain that's never been done either on the Adam West show, Two-Face, Clayface, Ra's al Ghul. I don't know that I want to try and do something that's been done before. They said, well, do you want the audition or not? I said, sure, I'll do it. And one thing what happens is when you audition for something, sometimes your desire to get the part can throw off your timing. They sense a neediness or a slight sense of desperation. I tell young actors, even if I say, act like you don't want it. Be aloof. The aloofer, the better, as they said in Sweet Charity. And when I went in, I was following this wave of anti-Michael Keaton. So I thought to myself, well, if they freak out that Mr. Mom is Batman, how are they going to feel about Luke Skywalker being the Joker? I think that's a good idea, maybe. So I knew I couldn't get the part. So I was completely relaxed. I knew I couldn't get it. I went in there thinking, I'm just going to make them really sorry they can't hire me. And I went in, there was one little drawing of him in black and white, that pose where he's standing with his finger in the air, and the only direction was 3 words, don't think Nicholson. Well, of course, the last thing I would do is try and imitate an actor of that greatness. But they had 3 finished episodes because they changed their mind about the original actor. And I don't remember much about it. Years later, I said to Andrea Romano, what was it that made you decide to go with me? And they said, oh, when we heard your laugh. We said, well, that's it. And they looked at Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, they said, that's the guy. But like I say, I went in there, I wasn't arrogant or cocky, except in my own mind. Because when I drove out of the parking lot, I thought, good luck finding a better Joker than that. But here's what happens. As soon as your agent says, they want you, I went, oh no! I can't do this. I can't follow Jack Nicholson. I can't follow Cesar Romero. And I couldn't even remember what I had done. Months had gone by before I went for the first recording session. And remember, I had to do the 3 episodes that were finished before I met the whole cast. Before I met Kevin and Bob Hastings, Commissioner Gordon, all of them. Because in those days, they had everybody in the cast there. If there were 30 characters, there'd be 30 microphones in a row. You did it just like a radio play, where you started on page 1, you read it all the way through once, you got some notes and cuts, they break for about 10 minutes, and you come back in, and you start recording on page 1 all the way to the end. I mean, it's not so much like that anymore. They like to record you separately so they can micromanage every syllable. And it's at a disadvantage because, like musicians know, you really play off the other people's rhythms and style. Somebody will say a line where you go, oh, I didn't expect you to say it that way, and then you react to how they deliver the line. So I'm driving in for the first session, and I couldn't remember anything about, did I sound like this? Did I sound like this? How did I sound like? How did I laugh? And of course, in Los Angeles, if you see a single person behind the wheel, it's just another Thursday. And when I got in there, I said to Andrea, I said, I don't remember what I did. I don't think I could do this. I mean, I don't know anything. She said, calm down. We have your audition tape. They played it for me, and I went, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, I can do this. But it turned out to be, it was so well written and so much fun to do. My agent, of course, was mad about it. They said, well, you got the Joker. I said, well, why are you just upset about it? Well, we were hoping you'd get Alfred. I said, Alfred? The butler? Well, why would you want me to be an Alfred? Because he's in way more episodes than the Joker is. He's in many more episodes. So they were thinking from the standpoint of how many checks I would get. Because obviously, I don't know how many Jokers are, one in every 15 or something. You know, that was the first thing I'd done since I was a teenager. And it was so real well written, and there's so many great people. I just assumed, and it really, what happens in Hollywood is if you do one thing well, they want you to do the same thing over and over and over again. So I was sort of typecast as a megalomaniacal villain. I did Hobgoblin on Spider-Man, and I mean, I did a list of all these, but I was pretty much typed as a villain, which is fine, but I mean, I had to be careful not to slip up into the Joker range. I kept Hobgoblin deep and more resonant. Anyway, when I finally got to work with the entire cast, it was just a joy. And you know, I just assumed all animation is going to be this good. Well, no, not so much. But it certainly opened up a career that I didn't have before. And for someone that wants to be a character actor, animation defines character acting, because the idea of a character actor is they disappear into the role and you don't see the face so much as you see the character. Well, animation does that for you. You don't see the face, and you hear the voice meld into the character. So I thought, what a waste of time, because I mean, Genie was like in 72, and I think Batman was 94, but I mean, it was 20 years of lost time. I mean, I didn't even know there were agents that specialized in animation. I got both Genie and Batman from my regular theatrical agent. I said, there's animation agents? And they said, oh yeah, and I got to meet all the people in voiceover. Some of the nicest people in show business, because I've done television, movies, Broadway, off-Broadway. I've worked in every kind of situation an actor would work in, and they are so welcoming. I mean, as soon as I'm sure later they said, oh, we thought you'd show up in a limousine and have a binder, you know. No. Show up on time, do the work, and they accept you within hours. And there's so many wonderful people in voiceover. I remember the first time Arlene Sorkin came in. Now, Joker usually would have henchmen, what we basically call, yeah, boss parts, where he gives out there we go, yeah, right, boss, right. And one episode had Joker's henchwench. And she actually, Arlene was a friend of Paul Dini, who wrote some of my favorite Joker episodes. She comes in, I remember this so well. We start reading the episode and we get to her, and she does a voice that's sort of like, if you've ever seen Judy Holliday in that movie with Broderick Crawford. What's it? Born Yesterday, exactly. She does this voice that's sort of like vacant. She sounds empty-headed, but she's much smarter than she lets on. But anyway, when she came out, I can't do it, but when she said, yeah, boys, or whatever it was, I fell off the chair. Oh my God, so good. And now I don't have any casting approval, but as soon as we took a break, I went to the producers and I said, you got to have her back. It's so great. And sure enough, you know, when she came back, now she had a name. Now she was Harley Quinn. And the rest is history, because, you know, she wound up getting her own comic book title, and, you know, it's become one of the more popular female characters, I guess, since Wonder Woman and Lois Lane in the DC universe. And now she's done by Tara Strong. And it's just a great character, great fun and a great oh, I see my socks are showing on you. It's The Simpsons. That was one more amazing call. They said, I think it was the bad news. I said, what's the good news? Because I said, oh, I love The Simpsons more than life itself. They said, they want you on The Simpsons. I said, what's the bad news? They want you to play yourself. I mean, I played myself, I guess, on Big Bang Theory and Just Shooting. But my point is, when you're playing a character, you don't have to take responsibility for anything you say. It's not me, it's the character. When all of a sudden you're playing yourself, you're thinking, would I say that? Would I think that? How do I sound? I mean, I don't know. Who am I? I have no idea. But I said, okay, they should show me and throw me at least a second character, just so I don't just have to play myself. And they did. They gave me the Lavelle. You are the sorry bunch of recruits I've ever seen. That guy. And they later had a character that I thought, I think I influenced that, the Texan with the hat. Not played by me, but played by a very talented actor, as they all are on The Simpsons. Which brings me back to, I don't know what I'm here for. Why am I talking?
Lego Star Wars! Lego Star Wars! Lego Star Wars!
Oh, yeah, I'm Fire Lord Ozai. Let me tell you something. When I read Avatar, I loved it. And I didn't say this to the people at work, but in my own mind, I said, this thing's going to be 5 episodes and gone. It's too smart for Cartoon Network. There's no flow. You don't go from Powerpuff Girls to that show, and then back to Two Dumb Dogs or whatever it is. So I said, I don't think it's going to last. What I didn't realize is that if you write up to children, not down to them, you can not only engage them, but their parents might watch with them. And that's what happened with that show. That's why it got renewed over and over and over again. And I'm frequently wrong. I remember, what was another one? Regular Show. I enjoyed it, but I said, it's got kind of a Beavis and Butthead vibe in that it's about these two losers that are highly critical of everybody else. You know, Mordecai and Rigsby. And I didn't think that one would go. Because I thought, you know, if it were on Adult Swim and they could make pot references and stuff, that's one thing, but this is for kids. Well, 8 seasons later, I had to tell Dave Lawson, who created it, I said, you know, I had to admit, I didn't think it was go. I told him the very reason I just told you. And it reminded me, maybe I should write a book of advice and then people just do the opposite, like George Costanza on Seinfeld. Here's an interesting bit of news. I just heard this last week. They want to do 44 more episodes of the radio show. Is that one on Skips? That's Skips, right? Yeah, that one. And William Sawyers, who does Mordecai, DM'd me, saying they're going to do 40, they're short cartoons, 2 cartoons make up a half an hour. So it's the equivalent of 22 new half hours, but 44 new cartoons. And he DM'd me and said, did you hear the news? He said, I'm just worried, are you in or not? Like, I've somehow outgrown them. No, I'm sorry, I don't do that anymore. I've grown beyond Skips. I said, I wrote him back, I said, there's only one Skips. And he's very much looking forward to meeting again with his old pal Rigsby. And he sent me a gift of somebody dancing with joy. So we're going to do that. But who knew? I mean, this thing's got to be 7, 8 years old. I don't know why. But animation has just been such a gift for me. I remember doing Time Squad with Rob Paulson, one of the funniest, nicest, most talented people I've ever met, and the pint-sized, hilarious, and foul-mouthed Pamela Adlon. Oh my God, the words I can't even tell you here. And she does it with such, just like casual conversation with F-bombs and oh my God. But she's delightful. I'd wake up in the morning and say, what are we doing? Oh, we're doing Time Squad. I love that show. And what was great about that, because it was very similar, I guess, to Peabody's Improbable History on the old Bullwinkle show, because the plot was they were travelers, space travelers that had to go and make sure that history wasn't altered in any way, to make sure Ben Franklin flew that kite in the lightning storm. So every episode would be a historical figure, and as silly as it was factually correct. So you learned without knowing you were learning, which is the best way to teach kids. And every episode we had a guest star playing some historical figure, whether it was Nero or Benjamin Franklin or whoever it was. And every week was some other wonderful voiceover actor that we got to play with, which was great fun. So where are we? Did Wild Robot, The Life of Chuck. Oh, listen.
What were you on the show?
Talk about Carrie Fisher. Listen, that was devastating. I don't know what level you took it at, but I mean, to me, my wife came into the bedroom. She gets up earlier than I do. I was still asleep, and tears streaming down her face, saying that Carrie didn't make it. And it forever altered, how I reacted to Star Wars in general. The heart was gone. It was just, I don't talk about it because I don't like reliving it. She was so much fun. You always knew you were going to laugh and have a good time when you were around her. Unless she was manic depressed, and then you'd flee her dressing room. She wasn't easy, but she was unlike anyone I'd ever met. I remember we decided to have dinner together before we started working on the first one, just to get to know each other a little bit. And within 10 minutes, she's telling me these details about Debbie and Eddie, and so unvarnished. You're thinking, should I be hearing this? details about Eddie's drug addiction, and oh, you don't want to know. Because I said, this is the kind of thing you would share with somebody you've known for 10 years. But she was completely unvarnished and harrowingly candid. I remember, after we finished filming, she said, "Oh, there's a birthday party at my house. Do you want to come?" Now, see, I was the middle of 7 kids to a military family, moved coast to coast to coast to coast, and finally my father got transferred to Japan, and I went to the last 2 years of high school at Yokohama High in Japan. And I never knew anyone famous. I didn't even know anybody who knew anyone famous. The next door neighbor was a baggage handler at San Diego Airport, and he told me the story that he returned Jerry Lewis's wallet that had fallen on the tarmac. And I was just mesmerized. Jerry Lewis exists in real life. I couldn't get my mind around it. He gave you $50? This is in the early 60s. He must be so rich. But that was the only encounter I had with celebrity whatsoever. Well, I go over to Carrie's birthday party, and first of all, the driveway is filled with Maseratis and all these luxury cars. I go in, and pretty much everybody was the son or daughter of somebody famous. Dean Martin's kids were there, and you name it. It was, it's like that line from Sweet Charity. This place is so filled with celebrities. I'm the only one here I've never heard of. But I thought, it's a different life. She really is royalty. She's Hollywood royalty. She had an upbringing unlike anything I could relate to. But it just seemed right, because I went over to do that movie, and we went to North Africa first to do all the Tatooine scenes. So it was me, Sir Alec Guinness, Anthony Daniels, and Kenny Baker, and Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, Phil Brown, and Sheila Fraser. And we shot there for 2.5 weeks or whatever it was. And then we came back to London to start the rest, to continue on. And first Harrison came over. Now I had met him when I did the screen test. And I knew him from American Graffiti and The Conversation, the Francis Ford Coppola film. And he shows up and he's just, come on, too cool for school, right? And I immediately, I think George casts people that are so close to what he wants, he doesn't really have to, deeply analyze and he doesn't want to hear backstory and motivation. That's not his thing. He comes alive in the editing room. But like I say, Harrison comes on, and I'm just like, instant, I just idolized him. I think he's so cool, he's so, devil may care, doesn't give a heck. Hey, I don't wear blue. I said that before, I say, may the force be with you. Unless you're MAGA, then you can go force yourself. Because it sounds dirty, but it's not. And hey, I don't wear blue. And I promise I wouldn't bring up politics. I won't tell you how to vote, but I do hope you're all voting. Okay? And it's so simple. Just go to iwillvote.com. It's easy to understand. And a lot of times I've heard from people that say, I thought I was registered, but somehow they threw me off the rolls. So do go to iwillvote.com. And that ends my political portion of the show. How long have I been out here? It's 9:02. When did I come on? 8:14? All right. Okay. Well, I'll
Lego
talk about
Star Wars! Lego Star Wars! Lego Star Wars!
it. What about George Lucas? Oh, well, I was disappointed that he didn't direct. I didn't understand why he wasn't going to direct Empire Strikes Back, and why wouldn't he do that? But what I didn't realize was he was setting up Lucasfilm. I mean, it was such an unexpected positive reaction. He went from 0 to 11 billion immediately. And we were lucky to have Irv Kershner. Now that was a director that wanted to talk about backstory. He's a real actor's director. And we should give him full credit because, Empire immediately struck me as deeper, more cerebral. The introduction of Yoda was genius. And you could talk about spiritual things without making people uncomfortable, like they're talking about religion or anything. You could interpret it as deeply or as on a surface level as you wanted. So I was really impressed with the script for that. In fact, I remember when I read the third one, I thought, no. I sort of was thinking the plot would be, because Luke, he lost a hand, he has a black glove, he's now dressed in black, and as we all know, villains dressed in black, it's a rule. So I kind of thought the third one would be about Luke struggling to decide between the light and the dark, and I was reading and thinking, Ewoks? And I said to George, what, are you going after the teddy bear market now? But he always wanted the idea of having this, like a really primal, primitive culture going up against the high technology of the Empire. They're bringing down the walkers with, vines wrapped around the legs and catapults. It's just an interesting kind of, and I saw a movie recently that really impressed me because, I love all the Alien and Predator, I love all that stuff. But I was not expecting, I saw Prey. Have you seen this thing? Oh my God. P-R-E-Y. Because I thought, you kind of accept that once you have established whatever the premise is and what the characters are, it's all variations on a theme. By setting it 300 years in the past, where the Predator is in this culture that is so primitive. He's got like a wristwatch. He pushes a button and kills 12 people without even aiming. How are these primitive natives going to be able to take them down? I was riveted, and it's so immersive. You really feel like you're living in that culture because they show you how they live, how they make food, how they hunt, all of these things. I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. And I heard my son saw the new Alien. I said, no spoilers! But he loved it, so I have high hopes for that. Anybody see it yet? I'm asking a Comic-Con crowd, have you seen it yet? First day, first showing. That reminds me, I remember the day that Star Wars opened, the driver came to pick me up because we were dubbing the 35 millimeter prints, because only the 70 millimeter had gone out. It only opened in like 18 theaters. Nowadays they open up in 2,500 or whatever. And I said, hey, can you drive by Grommet's Chinese, because I haven't seen, there was no poster. There were big fights at 20th Century Fox on how to promote it, and George didn't like any of the posters. So there was no poster. They just put, stills from the film, lobby cards of different scenes with no poster. But I wanted to see what it looked like on the marquee, and he drives me by, and I could not believe it, because I have been watching for an ad on Saturday Night Live or anywhere really on television. I never saw a television ad before it opened. I never saw an ad except in the trades, you know, in Hollywood for Variety, but in, you know, just general periodicals. But I was stunned. There were lines around the block. Day one, first showing, I thought, because I thought this thing might take a little while to get off the ground because the hardcore fantasy science fiction lovers will see it day one, and then word of mouth will spread that it's funny, it's not like anything you've seen before, quite like anything you've seen before. But I thought it would take a while. I thought, you know, it'll build, but you know, 'cause when we were making it, I remember Robert Watts, the production manager, had me in his office the very first day. He said, "What do you like? How would you like to be addressed? Would you like to be called Mr. Hamill or Mark?" I said, "Hey, uneasy, you know. I respond to, hey, you." Do you know, to this day, he calls me, hey, you. Robert Watts, love him so much, and he's always called me, hey, you. And he said, what do you think about this little enterprise we're about to embark upon? And I remember saying, I said, I think we're on a winner. Not many people had an impression. You know, we asked Harrison, who knows? But I had a friend, Jonathan Pannier, who worked at in the cinema department at the Los Angeles Museum, and I said, you should look up the grosses for, you don't have to go back to silent films, forget about Metropolis, but say, keep calm on. Look up the grosses for fantasy films up until the present day. Because he had read the script. I read it the first time. I told this story before. I got the part, I hadn't read the script, I just read the scene I was in for the audition. So I never forget reading it for the first time. Because when I did the audition, I figured, well, Harrison's a leading man. I must be like his annoying sidekick. And the title page of the script was The Adventures of Luke Starkiller, as taken from the Journal of the Wills, Saga number 1, The Star Wars. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I thought I was Luke in the idea. No, it must have been Harrison that was Luke. I'll just read it and see what my part is. But within, 20 pages, you realize, oh my God, I mean, this is a high school kid on this desert planet, that's gotta be me. So it's seen through my eyes, which is very unusual. The standard way would be to tell it through the eyes of a 35-year-old, scoundrel, pirate, smuggler guy. It just made more sense. So they already found how offbeat it already was. I also thought that it was effortless feminism to have the princess be far from a shrinking violet. She was like telling Darth Vader off to his face. She was not intimidated by Darth Vader in the slightest. I thought I recognized your foul stench. I mean, wow, pretty mouthy, huh? And when we rescued her, she made chumps out of Luke and Han. You call this a rescue? Give me that gun! And she made us look like, the Two Stooges. I mean, and I thought that's effortless feminism, because it's not apologetic, it's just showing a woman is as vulnerable as any man that's on the screen, for sure. And I said, so when Robert Watts, what do you think? I said, I think we're on a winner. I said, I'll make a prediction. This thing is going to make as much money or more than Planet of the Apes. I meant the original, not the one that was the remake, the one from the late 60s. So I said, if at the time, it costs around $8.5 million. So what you do is you double that and add half of that to know what your break-even mark is. So if it costs $10 million, after it makes 25, you're in profit. I said, and And we signed a contract that if the first one were successful, we'd do part 2 and 3. So I said, there's no doubt in my mind, we're gonna make all 3. I had no idea the extent. Oh, the girls are back. Is it time? Oh. Oh, they were sent out to wrap me up. Oh, well. May the force be with you all. I want to thank you all. I've said this many times. If it weren't for the fans, I wouldn't be here. You have been so loyal and so committed throughout, not just the ones I was in, the prequels and the sequels and Rogue One and all the animated shows, Clone Wars. I mean, listen, this thing has become, I mean, I was there at the humble beginning. Remember, George called this the most expensive low-budget movie ever made. Because every penny had to show up on the screen. The only actors they had to pay real salaries to were Alec Guinness and Peter Cushing, because they were established actors. We all made it for, I think we all made $1,000 a week, is my memory. And I remember complaining to my agent, I said, oh, I'm making 10 grand on primetime TV shows. She said, hey, get a grip. It's George Lucas, it's Sir Alec Guinness, it's a feature film. Oh, yeah. And the truth of it is, I've never been motivated by money. I've always been motivated by the character and the property. You know, like I remember watching What We Do in the Shadows, and I said, I would pay to be on that show. I had so much fun doing it. But again, I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I can't be more sincere. I love you. You are part of the Star Wars family, and you always will be. So may the force be with you all.